Holy extended Lego Cinematic Universe franchise. Batman. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the Main Street Cinema, the show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking. And it is here, folks. It is finally, we have a movie that came out, released in 2017, and didn't make the confusing festival circuits. Because Dragon, I swear to God, it's been frustrating because I've seen movies in 2017, right? But they've all been like weird kind of, the founder type situations where Split premiered in a few film festivals in 2016. So I'm not really sure whether to call Split a 2016 or a 2017 movie. Alas, here it is, the first great movie of 2017. The Lego Batman movie. Oh, yes, folks. So what we're going to do, we're going to quickly summarize how we felt about this movie, basically our expectations coming in, our feelings walking out, and then go on some kind of, just a very free-form, non-spoiler discussion. We will be having a full-blown spoiler cast a few days from now. We haven't quite figured out a date on that, but that will be happening soon. But in the meantime, Dragon, why don't you start? Expectations going in, thoughts coming out.
All right, let's see. So going into it, of course, very hyped. Going in, we had some really great marketing campaign. The trailer was really strong. Again, I love what they're kind of giving us with that scene in the trailer. The thing that hooked me again. I just love how serendipitous it is. That when I went to see Batman v Superman, we all went to see Batman v Superman in theaters. The trailer that played before it was the Wayne Manor, a Lego Batman trailer, the one where it's that really impactful moment I really love, where it's after Batman's, of course, he saved Gotham and does kind of the day in day out sort of stuff he always does. He's walking in front of the this giant over the top and really kind of like Shakespearean, like kind of like operatic with the music playing, and he's walking up to the portrait of his parents, and it's actually a genuine human moment from Lego Batman, where it's like it's not just like the fun Batman in jokes. It's him walking up there, says Mom, Dad, I saved the city again. Hope I made you proud. And then of course we get some Alfred comedy. Again, it's all really good stuff. And that instantly sold me on the movie. That scene right there, like, oh my God, this thing could be really good. It could potentially be kind of the ultimate way to celebrate Batman, kind of surpassing 75 years, in this case 78 years by the time this film came out. It's in reference inside the film. Mm-hmm. So, boys, I was very hyped for the film. Of course, I'm just the various kind of minifig opportunities with all these variations on Batman and the characters. I mean, they're all very inventive, all very clever, and so yeah, going in, it seems like it would continue the quality we got with the Lego movie, but with all Batman. Walking out of it, I was very disappointed.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I was just messing with you.
Oh, is it like the Deadpool thing that I did to you last year?
Yep.
Okay. I was like, oh, really? Oh, wow.
Did I get you, though?
Kind of, in a way.
Okay, but no seriousness. Oh my God, it was so good. Oh, so good. Lived up to various expectations. I have a few qualms with it. Basically, overall, I would say, walking out of the film again, I was laughing throughout the whole thing. Basically, the best way of summarizing how I felt about this film was that it felt like the Joker made this film to kill people with laughter. It really does. It feels like Joker made the ultimate testament to Batman. It feels like kind of a Snyder Joker plot. We're going to make the ultimate testament to Batman. It's going to kill people with laughter and emotion in their heart. It's going to make them, they're going to die with a smile and tears in their eyes. And that's kind of what it feels like. It was a really good movie. I would say it's like, I think the ratings right now are very befitting. It's like 91% perfect. Again, it's not 100% perfect. Not getting into those reasons when we get into kind of stuff later on.
Yeah.
Again, I just have a few very minor qualms that don't take away from this being an excellent film. Again, it's a wonderful way to kind of commemorate Batman as we've seen him throughout the years. It's kind of it's very satisfying.
Okay. My thoughts going into this, definitely excited about it. I love the Lego movie, and I definitely think that they had a lot to live up to with the Lego movie. Maybe a little worried about it in terms of like could the whole gag with the Will Arnett, like, serious but kind of, you know, like, dumb and egotistical Batman hold up throughout the whole movie? You know, I was kind of worried about that, kind of worried that maybe the DC in-jokes would get a little stale. And I got to tell you, Dragon, definitely with Lego Batman as a character walking out of the movie, that was one of the things that really impressed me about it, was how much dimension they were able to give the Will Arnett Lego Batman, where in a weird way, like, as silly as it is and as funny as it is in certain spots in the movie, it is a really interesting and really different interpretation of the Bruce Wayne dynamic, but I think it's just as valid as anything else we've ever seen from any of the other Batman movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so let me see. I would say my expectations were met, but they weren't exceeded. So this was kind of like Moana for me, and I know Moana you were slightly disappointed in, but
yeah, again, I'll be able to rewatch it soon because it's coming out on DVD soon.
And you know what? That's
amazing.
The thing. That's the thing, Dragon, is that I feel like I need a rewatch on this, and it's not the movie's fault. It's simply because I had the unfortunate pleasure of being in a film where parents just took their babies that were just clearly too young to be in the theater, and they were literally like just chasing the kids around the, like, up and down the stairways, and the babies were crying.
Poor soul, you're gonna be so jealous of what I'm about to tell you. I had the exact opposite thing. It was basically because I just figured
just in a room filled with Batman fans.
No, I had the exact opposite thing of yours, where it's it kind of happened as I kind of predicted. That it was just me and my friends who I saw this with, and about two other people in front of us, and then down the very, very bottom row, I think there maybe have been one family with like 2-3 kids, maybe, about it.
Yeah,
My theater was deserted, and it was deserted, but oh my god, it was satisfying.
I want to see this with a crowd, though. That's the thing. I really want to see this with a crowd of like Batman fans. That's what I really want to do. I want to go to like a late night screening of this.
Honestly, the laughter my friends and I expounded basically could have filled the entire theater because we were laughing our heads off.
Sure, I'm sure.
Because again, also I should note that I recently showed them for the first time. None of them had seen it. I showed them Return of the Caped Crusader, and they went bananas for it.
You know what, Dragon? I'm glad you bring that up, because as much as I like Lego Batman, I have to say I'm kind of leaning towards Return of the Caped Crusader being the better of the two.
I don't know. Again, here's why it's a tough call to make, Tiki. It's very
obviously Lego Batman's got the bigger production quality behind it. It's tough. I just think Return of the Caped Crusader. Man, it's tough. I like them both so much, and
you gotta remember, it's one's dedicated to one era of Batman, the other one's dedicated to every era of Batman.
That's true.
That's where it breaks down. Like, they're both kind of doing impossible things, and they're doing it so well.
But that's the thing, is that I feel like Return of the Caped Crusaders had an even more impossible task of just like, you know, like replicating 60s Batman, but making it relevant and making it heartfelt, and they did it. They did it so well, but this is really good too. And like I said, this movie achieved, you know, in a non-spoilery kind of way, it really did achieve the impossible of, like, how the heck do we make this, like, really super one-dimensional Will Arnett Lego Batman character who's just, like, you know, really egotistical and, like, makes heavy metal rap songs about himself. Like, how the heck do we make this guy endearing? And, you know, like I said, without giving it away, like, we'll kind of talk more about the dynamic Batman has with some of the characters in this movie a bit more in the spoiler cast. But they really do a good job, especially with, and we see this in the trailer, so I really feel like it's not a spoiler. The whole, the one is the loneliest number montage. That was a really effective scene, you've got to admit.
Oh yeah, I think the film's greatest strength is that it really, much like Caped Crusader, it is analyzing elements of Batman we've known, and what's cool, like through the Lego kind of universe, through the Lego kind of view of things. It added a really great. It's developing the story of Batman. It's examining. Well, we know every which way of Batman. That's what we're referencing. We're having a lot of fun with. But at the same time, smartly, we're going to examine something with Batman we haven't really seen. What if? Without spoiling too much, just saying, what if we go in a new direction with Batman? What if Batman succeeds? because of course the running thing of Batman is that Batman wins the battle, he never wins the war. What if he gets close to winning the war? What happens?
I would say like this is a pretty good thesis statement of the movie that you can kind of surmise from the trailers that they pull off rather well. Is this movie is essentially kind of the origin story for the Bat family? Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, that's it's very apt. Yeah, and again, it's also a great way of it breaks down. It breaks down various like story elements we know of the Batman and some very famous Batman stories. It examines them through like a lighter view. Of course, we're not going to this isn't a spoiler. Of course, we're not going to paralyze Barbara Gordon in this film. But
maybe the sequel.
And here's how they do it too. They just remove the legs from the bottom of her.
Oh god! Oh god!
Just that's the way to do it.
Just have her torso attached to a wheelchair.
Yes, that's how you do it.
Oh my god!
Or no, actually, it could be even better if it's like the wheelchair has like the legs that are attached to the wheelchair.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay.
And basically, when eventually she gets her legs back, she can she can attach herself to a pair of legs next to her. No. But seriously, it's like we do kind of I don't want to spoil anything, but basically we kind of hinted some recurring Batman things, and we kind of explored them in like the lighter Lego movie direction.
Let's just say a really interesting take on the Joker and Batman dynamic. That's as far as I want to go into it with that.
Yeah, there's a very interesting take on that, and also kind of take on kind of some of the age-old kind of Batman, kind of Batman rules, so to speak. And of course, Batman being a loner, that's a big theme of the film. And again, basically, we get this in the trailer, so this one isn't a spoiler. Again, one of the best things, again, with that whole the parents moment, as Alfred phrased it, and I love this kind of the thesis statement relating to the Bat family for the film, is that Batman's greatest fear is becoming part of a family again, which I think is a great idea for a movie, and that's a great way of kind of examining how Batman gets the Bat family, and basically.
And we've never really seen the Bat family, like the fully formed Bat family, in a movie before. I mean, the closest we got was like the ending of Batman and Robin, but even that is kind of let's pretend.
And let's be honest for a second here. Let's say again now, Tiki. Speaking as a longtime Bat fan, and there were all these speculatory days, especially when the Batman 3, the undefined Batman from way back in those days. Everyone, for the longest time, people want to get to the end point where it's much like the comics, where there is a Bat family, where you have Oracle, where you have like the various Robins, and of course in the films, and we keep hitting this point, especially when we kind of reboot Batman a lot of times. We unfortunately can't just jump into the Bat family. You have to build it. Whether it's like you don't have to take forever to build it, but sometimes you have to. Like the Nolan films, you wouldn't start out with the Bat family. Of course, you have to. You go through begins, and then of course that one's like
end on like a very rough interpretation of a Bat family.
Yeah, and they do kind of poke fun at that in this film. Right. But you see what I'm saying though. Like again, like even with Batman v Superman, again, it's like an element where there are a lot of fun digs of Batman v Superman in this film.
Oh, of course. And props to Warner Brothers for making fun of themselves. Yeah. They've got a sense of humor about it.
Yeah, you see what I mean, though. Like again, it's like we're in such a rush to get the Bat family, but yet we still have to take these baby steps. And this film just kind of finally dives. Like, we're gonna make that a story. We're gonna like jump right into it. We're gonna give you all the solo single Batman you want. But we're gonna make it story relevant and make it an arc of him getting the Bat family, but in a way that makes sense for like how Batman would process this, while over the top and what was the word used to describe this Batman? They use a really good word to describe him. Okay, how do you describe the Will Arnett Batman again?
I don't know. You're putting on the spot, like grandiose.
No, like egocentric, something along those lines.
I guess, but like I said, that it's kind of like surface level. He's egocentric, and this film does a great job of breaking down that perception of him that you might have had from the Lego movie.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me see. Of course, as expected, we get a wonderful mix of different, cameos and Easter eggs of all kinds of things from. All kinds of different members of Batman's Rogues Gallery that we won't give away here. But let's just say there's some fun deep cut references there.
I will say this, though. Every Batman villain appears except Ra's al Ghul.
That's great.
Which kind of bothers me a little. Just a little. But then again, it makes sense that, he's the most serious out of the Batman. So he would muddy the works with kind of the main thing between Batman and Joker in this movie. So, basically the question that Joker keeps raising the Batman. Of course, if you have Ra's al Ghul, it would make sense. There's actually a really good contender.
And of course, there's all sorts of references to like the different gadgets and Batmobiles and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, any kind of like definitely this is an Easter egg hunter's, you know, like dream movie for sure. If you're into that kind of stuff,
which I am.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, a lot of, and I have so many of those Batmobiles.
Dragon, let me get into one of my few negatives with this movie, and I'm going to try to be as vague as I can about it.
All right.
And it's not really a negative, it's just kind of more of a missed opportunity I saw. So early on in the film, they do some world building that kind of makes it seem like it's something similar to what's going on with the Lego movie.
Yes, and I thought that was an interesting move. I like that they're.
I like that move. I'm just really disappointed that it didn't get paid off in the way that I wanted it to. That's all I'll say about it. I'm being super vague. But you know what I'm talking about. It's like I saw that setup and I was like, oh, we could go somewhere really interesting with that in the last of this movie.
I will say this though, Tiki. You got, especially with they showed a trailer for something I'm not really into, but just based on the trailer, just given what we got with this movie and of course the Lego movie, I might check it out. The Lego Ninjago movie they have in the works.
How was that, man? Because I'm a little bit bitter with my movie theater because I intentionally skipped watching that on YouTube to watch it in the movie theater, and nope, of course they didn't play it. So
here's the thing. I'm not really a Ninjago guy, but I gotta tell you, the movie itself, just in that little trailer, like not knowing anything about Ninjago, it looks really funny. It looks really interesting. I'm so far I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued by it. You know,
I'm intrigued by it too. I have an open mind about it.
And here's the thing: I think they're really striking a good balance. Like basically, especially Batman. Bear in mind, everyone knows Batman, but with Ninjago, I think they have kind of a similar balance where they can make a film where if you know nothing about the franchise, you can just they're selling you on the character, on the kind of the character motivation, kind of the character story versus like knowing the universe.
Definitely.
Which I think is really good. Anyway, what I was saying about the Lego movie point you brought up, but that's one other thing. Let's just say, as I was kind of getting at with the whole Ninjago thing, is that with all these Lego films that are coming out, you got to assume there are going to be more too. Whether it's going to be sequels or anything Lego Batman, the point is more Lego franchises getting their own movies. You can't imitate the same trick from the Lego movie going forward because again that was a big special thing. It's going to cheapen that if you keep doing it.
Yeah, but then there's the big. Well, okay, let's just say I like how they brought it back. I like how that does fit back in with the plot. I don't know though, Dragon. I kind of disagree. I kind of feel like I'd like to see something like that play out. I'd like to see.
It would be interesting if in the Lego Movie 2, if they kind of would reference somehow all of the other the spin-off films within that film, like how maybe kind of like linking their own universe stemming from the Lego Movie to address.
I also feel like there's some very, you know what? Maybe that's the thing with the Lego Batman movie. Again, trying to beat around the bush with it is that I feel like with the Lego Batman movie. There's certain details that make it a little bit more overt that it might be just a kid playing with these toys. Like there's the vehicles flying around and the weapon sounds are all like pew 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 pew.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And certain details like that, and just a certain plot point that I don't want to get into because it'd certainly be a big spoiler. But the whole crossover appeal of said plot point might be from a kid's imagination, like, oh, what is such and such and such and such and such and such fun.
Oh yes, exactly. That very much, Tiki, I think confirms it's still not in your face as it was in the Lego movie in the third act, but it's pretty much like we're still.
But it's more spread throughout the whole movie, though. Just the idea of it.
Yeah. And again, it's like basically it's looking at Batman over 78 years, but placed within the purview of it's from kind of like someone who's taken in at least a large majority of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean that's pretty much the only real. And like I said, it's not so much a flaw; it's more that I kind of wish they would have done more of it. But I guess, like we said, we kind of reached a happy medium on it. So, yeah.
Again, I would say I think if you're going to get anything like that, I think I'd expect more of that from the second Lego movie.
Sure.
I'd reserve judgment on that. Let's see. So, of course, I have a few pet peeves with this. Very, very minor. Again, don't take away from the film, but one in particular does kind of eat away at me.
Oh, God.
So, Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
So now, bear in mind, now going to the film, I knew they were going to do the retirement thing, which I get it. That's how we're getting Barbara Gordon. I get it, and it's fine. I'm still hoping to get like a little bit more at Gordon. I'm not saying he was bad or anything. Again, I like they got a good actor to play Gordon, which I wish we had more from too. It's Hector Alonso.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You remember Hector Alonso, don't you?
Name sounds familiar.
He's been a lot. There's like a large, illustrious career. He's been a lot.
I'm sure I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
Also, it's interesting. He voiced Bane in. He's voiced Bane a couple times, which is kind of funny.
Okay.
My point is, with Gordon, which I can't wait to get my hands on. I try to be very sparing with the minifigs. Of course, I got to get me some Gordon minifigs.
Mm-hmm.
And my point is, with Gordon, he had two things in the film, and they're kind of going for a '60s balance with Gordon, but kind of styling him in the Arkham games. He's dressed like he's from the Arkham games, but he's acts very much like the Neil Hamilton. Commissioner Gordon. I don't mind that. My problem is that there's this great. I love this little. I'll give this isn't much of a spoiler. It's basically the way you summon the bat signals. Like you have like a little button in your hand, which I do think is cool.
To me, that's very toy-like, which I love.
Yes, and I love that. I think that's cool. And again, no problem with that. My problem is that aside from just not getting enough time with this Gordon, and not again, I understand we can't have like all sorts of like we can't have a huge kind of Batman Gordon dynamic in this.
Right,
again,
right.
I don't know if kids, if it is from a kid's point of view, I don't know if kids would appreciate the minutiae of that like I would. But
Exactly.
my point is, there's a scene where basically all heck is breaking loose, and it kind of bothers me that Gordon's just kind of cowering and pushing the button instead of like I would have loved it if he was pushing, but then kind of fighting some guys along with the rest of them.
Yeah, I kind of slipped back into Pat Hingle Gordon.
Then again, it just feels like it's not that super detrimental. It's just it's like, basically I feel like they underutilize Gordon. I'll say it much, and you do always run a risk with that in the Batman stories. So you don't have to force in Gordon, but you don't want to overuse him. So you have to find a right balance. But this to me felt like we could have gotten a little bit more out of him. For the rest, and also they wrote him out in a really weird way. Should I give it away or should I save it?
Save it.
All right, I'll say they really write him out in a really bizarre way.
I will say a secondary villain that comes in. I don't want to spoil it. The only thing I'll say is that it's.
Honestly, I would have liked them to make some Gotham jokes through Gordon. I think that would have been hilarious.
That would have been great. I'm just trying to talk about this secondary villain without spoiling it, but let's just say it's from another. It's from another Warner Brothers property, and it's delightful, and it's like pure fan fiction. I'll say that much about it. Anyways,
it would have been great if, like you said a moment like before the retirement thing, where Gordon's like contemplating shaving the mustache, and he just doesn't.
And then he looks at like the Ben McKenzie Lego version.
That would have been great.
Like Ben McKenzie Lego standing with Donald Logue, Donald Logue. Bullock Lego.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! I just realized there's no Bullock in this. How can they not have Bullock in this?
There's kind of a Montoya.
Well, no, it's not Montoya. What they did there, Tiki, is that's Chief O'Hara, but they made him female.
Okay, but it's vaguely Montoya. She has a vaguely.
You're right. It's a combination of
It's
a combination of Montoya and O'Hara, which is kind of funny.
Speaking of Montoya. We have our great Rosario Dawson in this. What do you think of her?
Oh, she was great.
Yeah. Like I said, without giving away the dynamic between Batgirl and Batgirl spoiler, I guess. Well, it's the forming of the Bat family. Come on, you can guess. But
it's in the trailers. People see her in the costumes.
Right. So without giving away too much, I will say, frankly, Dragon, I think the dynamic between Batgirl and Batman might be.
It is in reference to the Killing Joke, yes.
Yeah, kind of a wink and a nod to the Killing Joke.
It is, and I'm trying to think how much to go into this here. Well, basically,
let me just say, I'm surprised how topical that is, given how recent the Killing Joke was.
Yeah.
But
basically, they had like two kind of safety precautions that allowed them to get away with what they're doing. Because one, it's they address in the thing, of course, with like all Alfred.
They do have a very important line about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Basically, I won't give away that line. Basically, in the film, they address the whole, this Batman, of course, he's been through many phases. He's aged phenomenally well, so this one is probably like 78 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, at the same time, he's enticed by, he's entranced by Babs. Let's say that much. Importantly, Yeah, importantly, again, she's much older. You know, she's a grown woman. Again, he's not actually 70. He's kind of regained the same age. The point is, it feels a little less weird. And again, maybe that's the benefit of distancing Batman from Gordon. This film doesn't feel as creepy, maybe.
But honestly, I think the whole thing is probably like poking fun at the Killing Joke dynamic more than anything else.
And more importantly, again, when we speak of Killing Joke, we're speaking of the animated, for all the controversy with the animated.
Yeah, of course.
And more so, it's that the again, we could be reading into this because again, they're probably in production at the same time. Questions like how topical they are just might be a happy accident. But the point is, later on, they have an excellent line we're not going to give away. They have an excellent line, kind of basically it's kind of a catch-all of like, yeah, even if we were to go in that direction, we're safe, we're fine.
exactly.
And let me mention this though. So I got to mention a few bits. Basically, the movie had me sold at the very beginning, the way they open and close.
Oh my God, yes. I don't want to talk about that, but yeah, folks, let's just say like from the first moment of the movie, it's just like yes. Perfect.
Yeah, they hit it right out of the gate. And of course, now basically the movie, let's just say before the Warner's logo. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Before the Warner's logo, you're instantly sold on it. I won't mention what they're referencing on it. So the point is that they sell you on it then, and then of course the first kind of like a day in the life of Batman opening, which is just kind of like it's like a cold open with Batman, kind of summarizes how it's a really great scene that's going to shape the whole course of the movie. We get to see what Batman does, what he does best. And it's that, I love it's not really what the movie's about, but it's kind of showing you what Batman
It's kind of like a James Bond opening.
Pretty much, yes. But, of course it comes back and it does kind of inform many things. It
mostly informs the Joker dynamic.
Yes, very, very, very important Joker. And again, I love the Joker and Batman's dynamic in this film. And of course, I think it's easy to say Zach Galifianakis, given the very little we've seen of the Jared Leto Joker, probably superior.
Yeah, definitely superior. Yeah, I would say so.
Again, bear in mind, just to give Leto,
I would say as of now, it's probably Hamill, Ledger, probably Nicholson, then Galifianakis.
And of course, if we have to limit all the animated Jokers in,
like Emerson is somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, and then the Maggio, and there's Jeff Bennett, and there's like,
oh god.
Anyway, let's see. But yeah, basically, Leto's kind of getting the short end of the stick because
I would say Leto's probably at the bottom, unfortunately.
He's got heart. The kid's got heart, though. Doesn't he?
But someone's got to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's his fault. It's the studio's fault. You know what I mean? We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyways, the points like Batman and Joker, they're really, really good together. It's really well written. It's really interesting how they kind of set that up and how it pays off. I love the moment, but I won't say what it is. I just love the moment where kind of Batman and Joker just kind of set their story arcs into motion at the end of that James Bond opening. Really, really. Also, what I really want to mention with the way it had me at the beginning, it brings up an element I really want to talk about. Is that I thought the score was fantastic.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Not just the music choice. Don't worry, they have really strong music choices. I'll give them that, of course, the original songs too. But again, I said the score too, because basically, again, without getting into it, basically, it's kind of mentioned, it's addressed like how cool the score is in the very beginning. Again, it feels very actually the Lauren, it's Lauren something. It's Lauren begins with a B. It's like. A part of me wants to say Lauren Bacall, but I know it's not. It's Lauren something. The point is, the composer did the score. He actually has worked with Hans Zimmer before, so I love that it has a very kind of Zimmer-esque influence. It's kind of a good, kind of Zimmer influence at the same time. It's like it's so dark and serious. Then of course it will get lighter at times. It's the serious like it could actually be in a Batman film essentially. The score at many points, and then you figure, it's being played over Legos.
which is great. I love the color scheme of the movie. I love how it's a whole lot of like yellows and oranges and dark colors. It's a good contrast to the Lego movie.
Oh yeah. We should probably weigh in on. So again, of course, I think the film was extraordinarily well cast. We had all good voices in this thing, and Mariah Carey. Thankfully, again, there was so much trepidation over who the heck Mariah Carey was going to play, because a lot of people thought, for a moment, they thought Commissioner Gordon, and that was like really weird. Then they announced, hey, it's going to be Barbara Gordon, who's becoming commissioner, makes a little bit more sense. And then it's like we have no idea. There was rumors of her playing Wonder Woman, which wouldn't make much sense. And now we find that Mariah Carey's actually played the mayor all this time. So very, very small cameo. I know we kind of knew. I don't think it's a spoiler because there was rumors we knew she was playing some part.
Sure.
That's the closest we'll get to a spoiler, I promise you. So.
I guess. So, yeah. I guess to touch on some of the other characters of, Ralph Fiennes, just Alfred's just, we've talked about this before, Dragon. I feel like Alfred is one of those fictional characters where
Never been that Alfred.
he's nearly untouchable to mess up. You know what I mean? It's just like it's almost impossible to mess him up.
Yeah. And of course, I honestly, Ray Fiennes, he could absolutely play Alfred live action as well.
Oh, absolutely, man, totally.
No, I'm perfectly happy with Jeremy Irons. I'm just saying.
The one thing I'll say about Ray Fiennes is that it's kind of fun given the context of another character that pops up in this movie.
However, that's not him, Tiki. I'm just going to say.
Oh, I know it's not him. I know it's not him.
It bugs me. It really bugs me.
I honestly think it makes it even funnier, to tell you the truth. The fact that Ray Fiennes is in it and that character is in it, but that character isn't played by Ray Fiennes.
Yeah. A lot of people, for the folks out there who think we're talking about Red Dragon, we're not.
I think people are smart enough to probably know what we're talking about, and that's probably the biggest spoiler we'll get.
Yes, I'm talking about Francis Dollarhide from Red Dragon Tiki. I don't know what those people are thinking we're talking about.
Oh no. Okay.
You know, the very interesting killer from Red Dragon, not the original Manhunter, but the remake made by the wonderful Brett Ratner, who's been underestimated many a time by Tiki. So,
thank you. Okay.
Anyway, so tell me this though. What did you think of Michael Cera?
He was okay. I'm usually the one who's like the big Michael Cera defender. I would say out of the cast, he's probably the weak link.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he served the. He did what Robin's supposed to do. Only intrinsically, he's kind of representing what Robin's supposed to. He's keeping Batman light.
There's just like a few moments that I thought were like a little overly obnoxious with Robin that I could have been toned down a little bit.
Yeah, but again, I think
his character was maybe a little too over the top.
Yeah, but I think if we're in a world where we have this exaggerated Batman, this exaggerated Robin kind of makes sense. So again, I think he still served the purpose for. And
of course, given the whole Lego movie, like, oh, it's all kids playing with Legos and whatnot. If we're gonna take that into the context of this movie, then it makes sense for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Jenny Slate was a good Harley Quinn, though. She was good.
She was.
Again, it was really well cast. Very, very strong cast. Yeah. However, one weird choice though, I got to mention the voice of. I mean, there's no reason It's a really weird choice. Basically, the voice of Clayface is Sadie from Steven Universe.
Huh. Weird.
I know her from The Big Bang Theory. I just kind of realized recently like that actress is the same one from one of the actors from The Big Bang Theory plays Sadie from Steven Universe. Just got a revelation there. But the point is, like, I don't understand like why Clayface has a female voice. But then, I mean, if you went. Here's the thing, it's credited as Basil Carlo, as the Basil Carlo Clayface. It still just raises the question, well, if it's a male, why is it voiced by... I don't get it.
Weird.
Yeah. All
right, Dragon, I think we've pretty much hit our limit on stuff to talk about, unless you have any kind of closing thoughts or anything like that.
Okay, let me think if there's any fruit that's remaining here. No, I don't want to spoil it. It's overall the film is very good. I'm not super crazy about about our kind of our not, I guess mid credit be the way this mid credit sequence kind of takes us to the very end, I guess.
I'm
not crazy. I think that's kind of them overstaying their welcome, and I think basically as again overall as any negative things, because there are very few negative things. Again, it's like I count them on less than one hand. The Gordon thing's a pet peeve, and that's just me personally. The other thing again would be I think basically when the Bat family forms, I think we push it a little bit more than we should towards the third act. I think maybe I think there's some issues with the third act. We'll get more in depth when we get into the that's all I'll say. I think the third act has a few holes in it, perhaps, but again, it's nothing detrimental to the film. It's still overall, it's a really strong film. Again, I love how it kind of dives into a really interesting and kind of for all ages exploration of Batman. It's definitely stronger than Batman v Superman. I'll say that much. For me, in the grand scheme. Ranking just the animated Batmans, like all of them together, not like any specific kind of universes or variations. Of course, Phantasm's still number one. Then it's The Dark Knight Returns. Then honestly, it's between this and Caped Crusader. I don't know. I think I might have to still put Cape Crusader than this, but again, it's up there.
Yeah, I
It's in
think
the
I'd
top
have
five.
to.
It's really
It's tough though
only because
I
Cape Crusader did it so right, though. That's why.
I feel like Cape Crusader did it really right, and it also did it first. And so, like, some of the stuff, like, yeah, like let's just say there's a gag about like the 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 action words that come up, and I feel like
Yeah.
Cape Crusaders kind of overshadows that scene. You know what I mean?
And again, just to be fully fair, again, they're going for different things. One's like about like bring back every memory of a certain universe. The other one's just kind of like Batman in general. Honestly, it's kind of light on 60s stuff. Don't get me wrong, 60s stuff's there, but it's kind of like it's not in your face.
We don't even have an Adam West cameo, do we?
Tell me if I'm crazy. Did we have that in like a trailer where we had an Adam West?
I don't know, but I want to say I want to say I didn't hear any Adam West in the movie.
No, there is no Adam West in the movie. I thought like
yeah, which is a shame. I don't remember any from I don't know. It's just a shame that we never got. I mean, technically, there's the cameo of like the live action cameo that we got in the trailer.
Well, yeah, I guess but it's physical.
And then that really weird '60s phase.
Yeah. But again, overall, it's a good testament. It's a good showcase of Batman. It's a good way to celebrate Batman, kind of after all these years, and it's a really strong way to kind of start off the movie. And honestly, if all else fails, this will be the best be the best DC movie technically this year, possibly.
I think there's a very, 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 very good chance of that.
I'm hoping I'm wrong there. I'm just saying they're starting off really strong. Let's on a positive.
They're going back to page 1 on Batman, Dragon. They're going back to page 1 on the Batman.
All right.
Page 1.
All right.
Page 1.
Focus on the not negative.
All right. So, folks,
strong year for Batman right now.
Definitely go out, folks, and see Warner Brothers actually make a competently made DC movie. That's all I have to say. All right. See you later, folks.
See ya.
Page 1.